somehow in the middle of broadcasting, I've tried to do this thing where I'm broadcasting to YouTube as well. If it falls short of that, then we might have a little bit of a problem. Krichawat, welcome as well to the program today, and Menika and Eljana, welcome. Eljana is from Bulgaria, Menika is from England, and where are the various folks from? Lawrence is from the United States. Josephine is from Singapore. Satitam, Master Satitam, is from Thailand. Unchard, tell me where you're from. I know Cassie is from Thailand as well. And Mona, let me know where you're from as well. Introduce yourself to everybody. Today we're talking about possibility consciousness and why. Because I want people to go from problem-focused consciousness to solution-focused consciousness, because this is where you, Ottawa, Lawrence, I apologize, we've had this discussion before, from Ottawa, Canada. He's Canadian, eh? And the reason I want to teach you possibility consciousness is because when you get good at it, you will be the one that everyone turns to find solutions from. The best counselor, the best coach, and all of these are the ones that find solutions where other people only see problems. Sometimes the best scientists in the world are being called together to find solutions to what would have been problem or problems. Before there was a problem, to send things out of the earth so that they'll be able to get into the orbit around the earth, to be able to go to other planets and to expand our resources, natural resources, and abilities to tap into natural resources in space. Mona is from Ottawa, welcome. And Charan is from Thailand as well, welcome to the show. So, and the reason I wanted to know more about possibility consciousness is over the next few weeks, you're going to meet various different folks. The one tomorrow that you're going to meet is one of the vice presidents from the International Space Station, Christine, and she's going to talk to us about what their plans are, what kind of mindset was responsible to be able to get them to where they are, to be the first, the pioneer in being the first commercial flight into outer space, and that will set the gateway open for a lot of people to be able to come into space as well at the same time. Tan Onchad is from Thailand, and so by developing possibility consciousness, it would help you whether you're a medical doctor or a psychologist, or it would help you if you are a nurse. It would help you if you are in any mental health profession. It would help you also if you are helping people on a day-to-day basis. It would help you as a leader also of a company, of a group. It would help you in a familial situation if you're the father or mother or leader of or the head of your family, that you would find problems where other people, we do find solutions to problems where other people see more problems being stacked on one after the other after the other. And so as a result, occasionally you're going to find that sound, and it's very, very irritating. But I've been searching all of my devices, including my phone, and I do not know what is making that ding sound, and I have no idea. I suspect it's YouTube, but because a notice just came up about YouTube and something, and I think I need to turn it off, or it might be somewhere else, or I find an expert to do it. But either way, I'm going to find a solution to that. I've been hunting since today. Yes, my mother. My mother is watching the program right now. Hey, Momji, and she turned 88 yesterday. We had Boontonki chicken rice, and my brother bought $700 worth of durians, and so that was quite the feast. It was a lot of durians and a lot of Boontonki. The mix was okay. It was actually pretty cool. As usual, everybody overate, and we try to keep it all very happy and everything. And my father, well, he's actually Tomorrow is when Singapore officially goes into phase 2 of this lockdown. And what that means is that now there are a lot more freedoms. All businesses are open, but there are little caveats along the way. So a number of people in the store and so on and so forth. And golf courses are open. So my father has already, I just went to visit and found that he had already pre-packed his car with all of the golf gear and golf carts and everything else. And so he's all prepared. 6 a.m. tomorrow, he's on the golf course. So it'll be very interesting. Now, to be able to create steps for an open mind, when people say keep an open mind, but not so open that your brain falls off, but open enough to be able to study life and to be able to create new circumstances and new solutions and new avenues of thought and new pathways. One of the ways to do that is to imagine, to visualize, to inspire, and to create. If you are a writer like me, because my full-time profession is motivational speaker. Second full-time is psychologist. Third full-time is physicist. I'm an inventor as well. And I run several different hats, and I also create programs and artwork and various other things. So as long as you're visualizing, as long as you're creating, as long as you're imagining and inspiring yourself, you could be writing songs or poetry. You could be singing also at the same time, creating various tones, various different sounds. You could be a musician of sorts as well. So as long as you allow yourself the ability to open to infinite consciousness, to be able to allow your creative juices to flow, try to go back to the time when you were a little kid and you used to use your imagination all the time, to create stories, invent stories or scenarios or fantasies. It's those kind of things that could look at a moss and suddenly realize that the moss could be a wig worn by a good witch of the toadstools fantasies or whatever that might be. You see, that imagination of yours is a very, very powerful tool. So you need to spend some time exercising this imagination, and you will find that your ability to think of new possibilities and new solutions increase. So do some creative writing in a journal if you want to, or a blog. Some people are making blogs now, or even vision boards, because this is what they want for the future. And so as a result, they start creating beautiful diagrams to this week, next year, I'm going to go here, I'm going to do that. You could paint, you could draw pictures that are in your mind, or simply daydream. If you can't do any of that, sit down, relax, and daydream. Form images one after the other. Take the time to get into this imagination and see what comes up. You never know until you try. And you can look for inspiration. Maybe if you can't create it out of your own heads, go to a museum. I was very lucky with my kids that we lived in New York. And so as a result, we went to the Metropolitan Museum of Art almost every other week whenever we had a chance. Listen to literature, poetry jams, or even go out to nature, where the idea of seeing nature in its infinite virgin unfoldment to you is by itself already leading you into ideas and formations and taking you away from the stresses of real life as well. Do something creative daily. It keeps your imagination muscle in very good shape, and you are then ready to take the next step into open possibility consciousness, or open mind and open consciousness as well. So you need to also challenge yourself and question or reevaluate everything. Listen to yourself when you speak, and watch yourself and notice how your patterns are. Are your patterns of thought negative and therefore spiraling down, or are your patterns of thought positive and always rising? Yes, there are many challenges. Everybody faces challenges. And even yours truly, I face a lot of challenges. And as a result, I don't allow them to spiral, because I notice my patterns, and sometimes I myself, hey, me, I am negative. Also, I go into, oh, what's the use? What the hell? Da 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 da. And then there's another part of me that's always paying attention because it's a practice. It's a thing I do all the time. And I say, wow, Mel, that was very negative. Holy crap! Is there another way? You know, are there certain things you ask yourself the same questions I ask myself? Are there certain things that I always do or always thinking that make me feel that I'm somehow set in stone, that this is my life, that I cannot change it? So therefore, this stone is pulling me down and life is doing to me instead of me being a participant in life. It is always happening to me. You know, it's like Zero Mostel in that age-old movie called what was it called? Fiddler on the Roof. If I were a rich man, do, 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 do. You know that the song where he sings. He's always blaming his life, his lot in life, from the people who are rich and always taking away from other people and taking advantage of the poor and whatever. You need to take a look at those ways that of being. If somebody can tell me what the heck that sound is and why does it sound so like that, then maybe I can also help you in some way. What is that ding? I have no idea. So regardless, if you know this, oh, it was YouTube. Holy Mac. I need to go into it and turn it off if I can. I turned on by accident some kind of notification bell, and so it dings whenever I have it. So I need to go in and somehow turn it off. I was going to say I'll do it during the break, but I realized that I'm the only one doing this program, so there is no break. Another day, later tonight after I do this. So you need to ask yourself the question, why? Why are you doing and thinking, and just start to evaluate your own thoughts at the same time. And then things could be different. Really ask yourself, how can they be different? What is it and I'm doing? What is it and I'm not doing? What is it that you're thinking? What is it are you not thinking that's changing? That could change the outcome. So challenge your ideas about how things should work and consider what you may not know. Maybe the best answer, maybe the best or right answer that you have may not be the only answer, or the answer somebody gave you may not be the only answer. So challenge your belief systems and about what you can and can't do. And often we limit ourselves based on these old information. Maybe things now and those databases in your brain maybe need an update. So be open to the idea and you'll be okay. Ekaterina, hello. Nice to see you. Welcome to the studio. Mona says you make me laugh. Why do I make you laugh? It's that sound, and I can't control that sound, and it's gonna ding again because I've got so many notifications in YouTube. YouTube has become my best friend nowadays because I'm learning a lot about how systems work, about editing, about creating stuff. I'm learning how to plug in my machines, which are next door, what goes where, which wire goes where, and how to put a speaker and connect this and this and that, so that I don't blow things up, Yeah, I just realized I don't have a break. What am I referring to? A long time ago when I was on radio, for 7 years. I was there on radio Monday through Friday, 2 hours a night. And in between, there would be a newsreader every 30 minutes. And this newsreader would read the news and give me a little break. So it was like 6 minutes, 8 minutes to read the news. Then I came on again for 25 minutes. And then he'll read the news again. And then it was called News Radio 938. We had about 1.5 million people listening to us on at that time, according to Nielsen charts. I should think about starting it up again because there were many things I needed people to know and to understand. And by the time I finished, I found I was still halfway done. And somebody was telling me even what I'm doing right now, teaching you all of this, is actually what people teach in a what do they call it? A webinar, seminar, mm, course, online course. So it'll be very, very cool. No, I can't because you'll be listening to dead air. Usually, I'd have you listen to music on those programs as well. But then again, a lot of the music that I used to play used to have a lot of red flags from YouTube and red flags from Facebook saying that you can't play this music. You don't have permission. We're going to make it silent. So that blah, 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 blah. So eventually, I went to um, take something else from the podcast. Thank you. Podcast is a good word. This radio program. And but you see, the podcast is really teaching you like I would in a webinar or something else. It's similar, very similar, except that I'm a little bit less formal in this podcast. So there's no step 1, step 2, step 3. Well, there is, but it's not like that. We were talking about several different ways in which you could create an open mind, possibility mindset. One of the ways in which you can do that is to change or shift who you are, where you are, your perspectives. Now that you've looked at what you're doing, in terms of what you're thinking and how your thinking can possibly change the outcome in anything, are there any changes you want to make in your life? Ask yourself that. Because when we make changes in our lives, new potential arises, new possibilities begin to unfold, and even a simple shift in perspective or a slight change in your thoughts will actually create new possibilities for you. See, when you find yourself deeply entrenched in a situation or an idea, try shifting a little bit. Shift your focus to an area you may not have considered before. See things from a perspective you never thought possible. How would a fly see this? How would a dog notice this? How would your mother feel about this? How would your dad? So on and so forth. See it from other people's perspective if you want to. Recognize, and sometimes taking what is called the helicopter view changes everything as well. You see things from this perspective. How about if you took a helicopter perspective and recognize the bigger picture that is at hand? Put yourself in somebody else's shoes if you want to, and that person may be in a level of consciousness that could be higher than yours. Be aware of the concept of that I spoke to you about for gender changes and all of that. We talked about yin and yang perspective, the male and the female perspective, the feminine and the masculine perspective. See it from those different perspectives. See, the idea that everything has an equal and opposite creates possibilities for you. So see the opposite side of your thoughts and consider the possibilities that lie there. When you do that, you become open to change. You become the person that breaks the frame in which you see the world. And so therefore, you start to change your own paradigms. The most important thing I told you in the last few weeks of running this podcast, forgive and let go. Because when you forgive yourselves and others, you reopen a bridge of possibilities that you cut yourself off from by hanging on to resentment or anger or hatred. See, opening your hearts and letting go creates space for new energy and new possibilities. That's how they enter. That's how they come into your being. That's how they come into your consciousness. Because forgiveness and letting go of the past, of old ideas that no longer work, old stories that you're telling yourself over and over again until even the people around you are tired of listening to the same old stories, so draggy, so negative, so pulling down, so harsh. I mean, thoughts that are no longer serving you. Incredible, powerful ways to create major openings just by letting go of these thoughts. And what would happen if you let go of them? Well, you open yourself to shining new possibilities and unlimited potential. See, there's a freedom in forgiveness, and you have to understand that to forgive is to set a prisoner free and to discover that the prisoner was you. You were a prisoner to old stories. And then finally, to be able to go into the consciousness of new thought, new mind, Try, do, act, try new things, speak to new people, connect with strangers as you go about your day, commit to something that you've always said you'll do, but you never ever did. You know, maybe it's something you wanted to do to improve your life, to improve your singing skills, to improve one of your hobbies that you had. See, getting yourself out of your usual routine and sometimes out of your comfort zone will bring new life into your this whole realm of possibility that you're playing with. So do something differently each day. Learn a new skill. Remove something from your life that isn't serving you. And all of these powerful actions will bring new energy into your life and new possibilities into your life, and you'll be all the better for it. So make a commitment to do all these things I just told you about and get out there and open yourself to infinite possibilities that are around you. Seek them out and you will find them, or they will start to find you. So how do you begin to change your perspective? There are so many different ways to do that. But what I want to teach you is how to create a positive mindset and to change your life. Everybody greeting my mother. Thank you, guys. That's very, very nice of you. I just noticed all the questions. I was checking to see if there are any questions in between, but there aren't any. But anyway, we pay. So each morning, remember when you wake up, the day has never happened before. So each morning we're born again. We do sometimes today what matters the most. And what matters the most is what you're focused on the most. And when you do that, I remember a long time ago when I was younger, a lot younger, I used to think these thoughts, you know, that people suck. I hate such and such a person. You can fill in the blanks, whoever it is you want. I was always constantly focusing on the bad side of humanity, so that all I could see was not good all around me, whatever was not good. And it always cast a shadow on my own life, and it always took the joy out of my own life as well. It should have been obvious at that point that I was creating my own misery, but I wasn't able to see how my own thoughts were affecting my mood at that time. Now, mind you, I was a teenager, no teachers, no mentors, no one to tell me what to do, and so on and so forth. So it became a little bit difficult. So I had to change my entire outlook by training my mind to see things in a new light. I wanted to be different. And I think the inspiration for that was very simply to have watched the program one time. And you might think it's a little bit odd. It's 10 o'clock. As if I have no other sounds to worry about. I forgot that I had that one on as well. How interesting is this? My life is never not filled with sound from somewhere. At least the dinging has stopped. So that was very, very cool. The one inspiration that made me want to change to be a better person happened when I was about 12, 13, 14 years old. There was a program on television at that time. Was it black and white or was it in color? I can't remember. It's called Kung Fu. Now, it sounds like a Chinese documentary movie, but no, it was a cowboy show shot in Hollywood and never in China. It's about a Shaolin monk who was half Caucasian and half Chinese. And he went on search for his brother. And in that program, this Shaolin monk dressed like an ordinary vagabond going throughout the West. And he had all this wisdom coming from him. And yet, while he was having this wisdom, he was also showing you how he could fight with Shaolin Kung Fu moves and all of those kind of things. And I was just taken, not so much by the Kung Fu, although that was a lot of fun. David Carradine, thank you so much. David Carradine was the one who played the protagonist in that show, and he was amazing. Kwai Chang Caine, known as Grasshopper by his teachers, and it was a lot of fun. And in that, I learned a lot about how the mind operates. I remember one show where he was working on a chain gang that was rebuilding the railroads, and so he was opposed to the people with the whips and the bad guys, and so he was thrown into this box. They call it the cooler, but it was a heater in the daytime. It was hot sun in the day and freezing cold at night. And he sat there with this other prisoner in this box that's no bigger than a foot or two, 3 feet tall. And so you had to sit, you cannot stand, you cannot stretch. And the guy was freezing away, or he was so hot. And here was David Carradine, Kwai Chang Caine, sitting down and calm as anything and doing his meditation. And he was teaching him how to stay calm, how to stay cool. And so, but I'm cold. Imagine a fire burning inside you. And imagine the fire was burning. And I was doing the same practice. I mean, mind you, this was a TV show, and I was 12 or 13 years old at that time. And so as the fire burned, the man became warmer and no longer freezing. And in the cold, in the heat, in the daytime, what happened was, he said, imagine a waterfall, and you're in the waterfall, and the water is all over you, and you start to become happier and and all of that. And I did exactly that, and that was the accidental beginning of my training in Tummo Yoga. And I started to continue learning long after the show. But that inspired me to want to become a better person. Hey, Babaji, my father is also watching this program, and he should be going to bed soon, because if you're going to be out of the house at 6 a.m. in the morning, you need to get your rest, because this is the first time in a long time, 3 months or 2 months, that you have not played golf. So you need to be at your best and to give it your best energy. You can always watch this program afterwards. It's always on YouTube and Facebook, so you're never lost as well. So I continued the story. I had to change my entire outlook by training my mind to see things in a new light, the way David Carradine did. It would have been easy to stay in the same path. After all, I had a lot of fatigue, and at that time as a kid, not so much money, nothing to look forward to except homework day after day, because I didn't have a compelling vision of the future. The next day was going to be the same, meet the same stupid teachers. I felt the situation was permanent and wouldn't change at all. So eventually I've had enough, and I started thinking about what I could do to change my situation bit by bit. It took a year, 2 maybe, but I became a completely different person. I started to find solutions for my problems that I was facing at that time, even though they were teenage problems and situations that don't mean anything now. But this change was slow, and into my 20s, the change started to take hold. But a new path that wasn't clear to me before started to appear. That's the sound. If you can identify that, let me know. Anybody who knows about computers. You see, so I worked on my mindset, not realizing that I was actually working on my mindset. So as things progressed, my goals, my dreams became bigger and more ambitious. I started imagining being fit, healthy, and running. How many times? I don't know what to do about that, because if I put this on silent mode, then you will not be able to hear me. So you're going to have to live with that sound. Just imagine that every time you hear a ding, that what it is really is a flower is blooming somewhere. Hopefully not indoors, because that means there's water leaking, but a flower is growing outside. Just think of it that way. And so we're reminded a beautiful flower is growing somewhere. So later on, this change of consciousness started to affect the way in which I ran my various enterprises, my business, even the way in which I traveled through the world. Some of these things that I did to change my mindset, I still do on a daily basis. And let me share with you some of them, at least 8 of them. Let me share them with you. I started to seek positive friends, and you should too, because a negative social circle will act as an echo chamber sometimes for bad ideas. A positive social circle will also act as an echo chamber, but one that supports your dreams, and would recognize the idea and the reality that can come about as a result of your dreams. So be very careful how you choose your friends. Tomorrow you'll hear from Christine about how both the SpaceX program and the International Space Station were both responsible for getting together the right team that believed in the same goals and the same possibilities. There were no naysayers. There were people who started to prevent problems before they happened, but that's not the same. And so these people were possibility conscious people. So you had to understand that as well. So you need to find people that reflect the values that you want to adopt. Join groups nowadays online. You can go onto networking or social events as soon as this COVID thing is lifted and the lockdown is lifted. These people are focused on positive personal growth. So as your own mind starts to change, it'll become easier and easier to connect with more positive people. Now, I'm not suggesting that you ditch all your old friends who are going through a very hard time and need your support, but rather that you evaluate whether some of your relationships are persistently draining and unhealthy. They are persistently draining relationships that no matter what you do, they will not change. They will not want to change for the better. And it's going to be very difficult. Eventually, it's going to drag you down. So I left my old social circles a long time ago because it was an echo chamber for a lot of negativity at that time. I remember, yes, I was very young, but by the time I reached 18, 19, I said to some of my best friends, 2 or 3 of my best friends, I no longer want to spend time with you. You guys are really full of crap. And da-da-da-da-da. I don't know why I said it like that. I said, look, I keep trying to show you how to do this, how to do that. Not only do you not want to do it, you also make fun of me for trying to be different and not be stuck in the same situation. And finally, one of them decided to change, and he is still my friend till today, and we're helping each other a lot. The rest are all, I don't know. In fact, I have no idea what they're doing right now. So instead of focusing on a great future, everybody was talking about the things that they didn't like in their life. They were complaining about this girl, that girl. They were complaining about this car, that car. They were complaining about this job, that job. It was very difficult. It was very hard to make new friends in the beginning that were different from that. But I found a way. And the problem was at that time I couldn't offer any value, to people who were very, very positive. I wanted them to ooze with positivity and for me to rub up against them somehow and get this kind of possibility thinking and positiveness that I wanted to emulate in my life. So that changed eventually, but it took time. So once you find your quote unquote tribe, excuse me, durians, progress will come more quickly because you find your new influences will lead you to a new tribe and a newer tribe and a newer tribe, and before you know it, you've grown from one tribal platform to another tribal platform, and you start to grow. Another way in which you can develop possibility consciousness is when your old thinking needs to be challenged. You need to challenge your thought because your old thinking is sometimes not enough to try to ignore it, and hopefully it doesn't come back. You need to kind of challenge it, the old thinking, because is everything really too expensive, or is it just that you can't afford it? Or do people really suck, or are you looking for things to criticize about people? Because if you're looking to criticize things about people, then you're going to find that those things you're looking to criticize them about. So you need to weigh your thoughts against the evidence. And if they crumble under scrutiny, then explore what you believe them in the first place. And then by changing your thoughts, your mindset will begin to evolve at the same time. Number 3, you need to consume positive media. Now, I cannot emphasize this enough because consuming positive media daily will alter your perspective through osmosis. Positive media, what is it? Well, it's anything that emphasizes that there is good in life, that there is goodness in humanity, or maybe even teaches you how to improve your living standards and the living standards of other people. Things that inspire you, motivate you. Chicken soup for the soul, for instance, that you can use. So many books are being written about them. Be careful how you pronounce them. So anyway, we all know that there is the best way to learn a language. Sometimes, if you want to learn a language, is to immerse yourself totally in the language, right? Well, if you hear this new language every day, it starts to stick. It becomes easier to remember, and soon you'll not only understand that language, but you speak it as well. See, I brought my children to Bulgaria, and both of them don't speak Bulgarian, and neither did I. So over a period of time, we are fully immersed, because at that time, 7, 8 years ago, very few people in Varna spoke English. So we had a tough time. We had to learn the language or eat in the restaurants by pointing to pictures the rest of our lives. And so it became a little bit difficult. So eventually they did. And so now we have a smattering, just like my children will be okay in Japan. They'll be okay in Singapore. They'll be okay in China. They'll be okay in Bulgaria. They'll be okay in various different countries. My son, through immersion, became pretty good at speaking Portuguese as well, and German now, and so on and so forth. But it's immersion in a different sense of the word. Anyway, new mindsets are exactly the same as well. If you immerse yourself in personal growth daily and personal positive content daily, it will change the language of your mind. And that language is your self-dialogue, the way you speak to yourself at any one time. It becomes a habit. And whatever your mind is speaking to itself eventually finds its way out here. And the language you speak will become the language you express to other people. So learn positive self-dialogue, and you see the world in a totally different way. You see, at some point, you got to decide to no longer speak to yourself about yourself in a negative manner. If you could speak to yourself about yourself that you are powerful, that you are great, that you are a possibility thinker, that yes, there will be bad situations, there will be negative circumstances you find yourself in, but because you are a positive thinker, because you are a person that sees the positive in the negative, the silver lining in all the dark clouds, because you are a possibility minded person, you have a possibility mindset, you will find a solution to that or an opposite to that. If you want a different way, I need to find out what the hell is making that noise. So anyway, you can volunteer. Oh, it's not. I just discovered what was making the noise. Yes, it says YouTube and da-da-da, but it's my email. So somehow Gmail has been set to make such a big noise, and I don't know when I set it. So I will change it up here later. Now we have a way. See, oh, by the way, I was just pointing out possibility mindset to you just now. You never ever give up. Although I spent 3 days on this trying to solve it, it took this program for me to be able to see. And now, because of that sound, it's like lightning and thunder. I hear the sound first, which is what we see with lightning and thunder. You hear the thing, and then now I see the thing. It's the reverse. With thunder, and lightning out there in nature, you see the flash, then you hear the sound. Here I hear the sound, then I see the flash. And it is my Gmail. And somehow my Gmail is open, but it's not. Anyway, where was I? Developing a positive mindset. Dr. Gill, I do not hear the noise. We cannot hear it. Now people are thinking you're crazy. Have you lost your mind, Dr. Gill? Maybe you need some sleep. Well, you don't hear it, but I hear it here. And if I turned it on here, you'll be able to hear it. Okay, I'll ignore it. I'll ignore it. Obviously, it's not affecting any of you, so you don't hear any of that sound. It sounds like if I were to take my pen and I were to hit this like that, except it's got a more echoey. It goes ding, and it's like I'm sitting down and having an argument with the shaman who keeps kicking his dong. That didn't sound right. You know what I mean? The donging thing. Anyway, I'll just get deeper and deeper into it. So anyway, if you want to develop a positivity mindset, you need to volunteer also. Volunteering to help other people can actually make a very huge impact on how you feel about yourself and how you view the world. You know, by focusing on how you can help someone else, you draw your attention away from your own troubles, your own worries, your own depression, whatever it is that you think is getting down on you, or so on and so forth. It becomes quite easy at that point to develop a positive mindset when you're looking for new ways to make someone feel better about their situation, or to actually make their situation better. So you can't focus on the bad while focusing on the good at the same time. It's physically impossible. A fifth way in which you can develop possibility consciousness is to abstain from all bad news. Spend not so much time looking at the news. I mean, stay informed if you must. The wars, the murders, the politics, they all add baggage to your thoughts. It all makes sense, that most of the media, mainstream media, focuses on bad news because tragedy sells. Everybody wants to know. Everybody is a little bit crazy that way. You know, when there's an accident on the highway, you know why the traffic is stalled. It's not for any other reason. There's ambulances, there's fire trucks and everything around the cars, but everyone slows down because they want to take a look, because tragedy is like that. Everybody wants to know who, what, when, where, how. And it doesn't make sense for us to sit around stewing over the bad news. You know, it's certainly not going to allow for an optimal mindset, one that's focused on the best that life has to offer. Know that there's a problem. And if you can't somehow change the possibility of that into something better, then please offer your help by all means. But do not start regurgitating news and going and feeling bad and worse and worse and worse. By tuning into the news about a plane crash where thousands of miles away where people have died, you're putting all your mental energy into something that you cannot help. If you want to help, send money to the people who've lost loved ones in there. They may need your help for medical expenses or anything else like that. Or even where the riots are concerned, some people are being inflammatory right now when they start to talk about the riots. Oh yeah, all lives matter, Black Lives Matter, human lives matter, so on and so forth, and so on, and everybody's getting into the discussion and blaming everybody else and saying has good ideas and bad ideas. If you have something that works, then yeah, let's do it. Now you find a lot of celebrities coming out, but all they're looking for is more publicity, really. Where were they before? What are they doing now to help, really? I'm putting my celebrity on the line to tell you what I think about da-da-da-da-da. You know why they're out there? Is because before they haven't had enough publicity. And so they need more publicity. They need more attention and everybody looking at them at the same time. Really? Put your money where your mouth is, really. Put your money out there to families that really cannot even buy food. Black or white, it doesn't matter. Poverty is still a real thing in the United States of America. Are we united in our front to help the people living in the slums? There are both colors, tricolors, four colors, even a lot of them. My God, let's stem the problem where the problem lies. And the problem is in the inequality of economic opportunity. So let's start focusing on that. And if you have a way to solve that, then start talking about that. So, putting your mental energy there will not help the situation. Instead, put out a plan. And maybe when you change lives directly, then your life will improve and everybody's life will improve as well. Number 6, write out your action plan for your life. Now, when you write out an action plan or a board, a vision board, your mind is now looking at possibilities and then doing something to make it happen. To be able to make 100,000 a month or a year income, I need to do this. To be able to make that trip to the Himalayas, I need to be able to do this. 4 steps to be able to reach your goal and to be able to make your action plan more real. Know where you are, step 1. Know where you are, know what resources you have. Step 2, know where you want to go. Know what it is you want exactly. And step 3, formulate an action plan to head towards that. A plan to get there, a blueprint for arrival at your destination. And if you don't know how to get there, find somebody who has made the journey and ask them to mentor you. Or find somebody online who's actually done it before, exactly what you want to do, and then emulate them, copy them, do what they're doing. Ask them for permission to be able to use their blueprint, their way of thinking, to be able to get from where you are to where you want to go, and how did they do it. And then step 4, take the action. Step out onto that plan and make it happen. Don't wait for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. The best moment is when you are breathing, and to be able to make that happen. And step 5, put forward by my friend Jay Abraham, monitor your progress on a daily basis and ask yourself, am I doing what I'm doing now? Is it bringing me closer to my goal or further away from my goal? What I'm thinking now, is it bringing me closer to my goal or further away from my goal? What I'm feeling now, is it taking me closer to my goal or away from my goal? So when you monitor your progress, there is no doubt that you will achieve all of those goals. So write down your action plans and put them out there. And then what will happen is this forward thinking of heading towards that particular goal or those series of goals will move your focus away from where you don't want it to be to where it could be. But it's not enough to simply write it out, because we only grow when we actually take the action step. So the 4th step, the action step, is very important. It's just a thought until we do something to make it happen. Don't know what the right steps are? Like I said before, don't worry. Just identify the first thing you could to start on the path. Then eventually what will happen is the resources will come. You will find a way. Even if it's a mistake, you'll still make progress. And that will keep you focused on creating a positive change or any positive change compared to where you are. Never allow paralysis by analysis. Paralysis by analysis is you have to make sure it's okay, make sure the first step is all right, make sure you don't fall down, make sure you don't. By the time you're finished, the opportunity is gone. So if you have the vision, go with it. Start straight away. Step 7, adopt a healthy lifestyle. See, a healthy body will support a healthy mind. During the most difficult time of my personal struggles, bad health was always a major obstacle, because stress led to something else, led to heart problems, led to other things, and chronic fatigue. And sometimes it can wipe me out for weeks at a time. So now, with the help of people very, very close and dear to me, I no longer have those issues, and I start to pay attention now to what needs to be done here. Next step, 3rd step, 4th step, and then just make it happen. So nonetheless, getting into action, changing my diet, working out for the, setting the foundation on its right course, and all of the changes need to take place at that point. Literally foundational changes as I work on my foundation as well. So slowly my energy levels begin to rise until the point that my health was no longer an issue, is no longer an issue. So you need to also take a look at something that is important, and that is how you sleep, what you eat, and your activity levels, to identify anything that could be sapping your energy away. Sometimes laziness is just fatigue, as that's what it is. Laziness is just fatigue. So send thank you notes, if you will, to people. That's the 8th step. The simple gesture of sending a thank you note to someone can be very empowering. It could be an actual physical note. It could be an SMS. It could be a little thought, a little, what do they call it, PM, private message in Facebook. Not only does it feel good, a thank you note creates goodwill in a lot of people. So your thank you notes actually strengthen your relationships and your connections, because people want to feel appreciated. That's very important to them. And so when people feel appreciated, even those closest to home, it could be a wife, it could be a child, it could be somebody else's wife, but regardless, the point is they want to feel appreciated in your life. So it really doesn't matter what they did. Any small gesture is always appreciated, from good service to a favor. All of those are candidates as well. So send a quick email if you want to, or even a card in the mail to let them know that you appreciate them. So number 9, create a morning mindset routine. Remember I told you about my morning mindset routine? A great way to start the day is by making a mental list of each thing that you're looking forward to. It creates this a feeling of anticipation and excitement that carries momentum for the entire day. Every morning I play this personal growth videos or audio programs just before I eat my breakfast. By focusing on the positive messages coming from this content that I expose myself to all the time from the beginning of the day. That's why I said today to you just now when we started that YouTube is my closest friend right now, but I curate what I watch. I decide for myself what it is I want to be able to expose myself to. Because remember, what you expose yourself to here, visually, auditorily, or even emotionally, you start to carry forward in your own day. You see, because if I do this in the beginning of the day, it's much easier for me to remain happy and to remain focused. People always say, why are you happy all the time? Well, that's why. I spend less time listening to miserable people. I spend less time listening to cyclical people, unless they are people that need my help. And if they need my help, then, let it be known that I am the positive person helping the one who's not. So my work doesn't get done more quickly by any means, and it doesn't seem so hard either. It can be done. I always see the light at the end of the tunnel. But I also want to teach people a new way to be. Why can't I be as positive as you, Mel? Well, I just gave you. From the beginning of starting this chat with you right now, I showed you ways, practical ways in which you can do this. If you want to, do what I told people the last time. I know I said I'll only give you 8. I think I went around 9 now. Let me give you a final one that really works. It's called a wins checklist. Now, what does that? My friend Charn here in Bangkok is his company is called Wintory. Wintory. Could be winter. It could be win, and a win story. You never know. Sri Kumar, welcome from Saudi Arabia. With a lot of practice, you'd be surprised what could happen. Keyboard warriors, that's true. Maninda Mindri from my cousin from England is watching as well. Thanks for COVID. Otherwise, all these people won't have time to watch any of the thing I do at all. So a win list. A win list is very simple. You don't have to put your big wins there. Yes, I conquered the world. Today I climbed Mount Everest. It doesn't have to be big. You could climb the smallest hill in your neighborhood and it'll be okay. Wintory, there you go. His next company is called Summertory. Then he'll be Autumntory, and then it'll be Falltory, and then it'll be Springtory. No, not the 4 seasons. I'm sorry. To the what was I talking about? Wintory. Win list, yes. So when you start on a good note, you need to finish on a great note. And what that means is very simple. Create a mental list of the wins of the day. What I do around 6 o'clock or so every day, roughly around that time, because that's when a lot of people contact me and I know their work is finished and they have to something to talk about and da 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 da, or dinner is getting ready and I'm being called and so on and so forth. I make a mental list. What have I done today? What have I created today? It doesn't have to be monumental, like I said before. The point of this exercise is to keep your focus on the best of your day's experience, not the worst of your day's experience, the best of the day's experience. So keeping track of your losses, well, they can help you improve, but dwelling on your losses will kill your motivation and your momentum. So finish strong in the day, and it will be much easier to wake up feeling happy. So I do that two times, one at 6 o'clock every evening, to tell myself, how far have I come? How many videos have I watched today that will send me in the right direction in this area, and that area? I have a chart of different areas I need to improve. And almost all the time, I think I spend about 8 hours in this chair that I'm sitting on, paying attention to that. My mother has to remind me occasionally to stand up and walk around, and do some exercise and all of that. So starting tomorrow, I begin this exercise. I begin this series that eventually was what was causing a lot of the weight gain. I'm aware of that. And so I will now start to lose it naturally, because you have to make exercise and all of this not a tedious thing. Oh, I have to do this thing. No, it's not like your marriage. This is something that you can work on so easily, because it's part of the nature of being around a longer period of time, and to be around healthier and happier and creating more energy by being lighter. And so that's the footing I need to begin on. Before there was a lot of things to grapple with, so I didn't even have time. So improving your life means improving your mindset. And like me, you may find that all these steps I gave you today are probably a great start. And then I'll take you to the next level of how to actually become the person you're improving, and to become that person. Now, I told you that at 6 o'clock p.m., I do a preliminary list before I do my evening activity, like eat, communicate with people I love, chit-chat, 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 chit-chat. And then before I fall asleep today, like right now, it's 10:30. Tomorrow, I have to be up a lot earlier. And so what I'm going to do is probably sleep around 12:30 at night. And before I head down to bed, I have a little list. What is a list? Well, it's a combination of the next list, and so it became NIST. It's a list of what tomorrow is going to be like, but I don't talk about tomorrow. I talk about how I'm happy with what I felt today. And so it's an emotional list. It's a list of how I felt and how different parts of my body related. And I start talking literally to various parts of my body. And then at that point, I just simply fall asleep. Obviously, it's not something I write down, but it's a list in my head. If you have any questions so far on what I've been talking about, please, now is a good time to ask me, so I can teach you more about how to get into possibility consciousness. And why am I talking about possibility consciousness? Because tomorrow we chat with the people who made the International Space Station possible, and to make the SpaceX achievement possible as well. Now, remember, your subconscious mind is involved, not just your conscious mind, your subconscious mind. But if you do something consciously long enough, eventually your subconscious mind will be trained. You see, your subconscious mind is like a gatekeeper to your comfort zone, if you will. And your brain is built to reinforce and regulate your life. Your subconscious mind is something like a homeostatic impulse, which regulates functions like body temperature, heartbeat, maybe breathing, and things like that. Some of the motivational hoo-has will tell you that it's like, it's as if your autonomic nervous system Your homeostatic impulse maintains a balance among the hundreds of chemicals in your billions of cells so that your entire physical machine functions in complete harmony most of the time. So what most people don't realize is that just as your brain is built to regulate your physical self, as it does, it tries to regulate your mental self, your emotional self. Your mind is constantly filtering and bringing your attention, to information and stimuli that tends to affirm your pre-existing beliefs. Now, in psychology, we call this confirmation bias, as well as presenting you with maybe repeated thoughts and impulses that mimic and mirror, that which you've done in the past. And sometimes it's negative, and you play that negative all over again. It begins to realize and begins to think that maybe that pattern, that negative pattern, is what you're comfortable with, and thus being the gateway, the gatekeeper of your comfort zone, starts to create that for you as well. You never know at that point. So also to realize that the realm in which you can either habituate yourself to expect and routinely seek these actions that would build and reinforce the greatest spiritual success you're looking for, or the happiness you're looking for, the wholeness or the healing of your life. Well, it all begins with your unconscious mind. And your unconscious mind is also part and parcel, just to let you know, of training to become a possibility thinker. It's all in my next book, by the way. It's called Anything is Possible. And the movie will be completely different, of course. But the book will teach you how to go into possibility mind. The most important of ways to do it is maybe what we'll do. What time are we at? We're at 10:30. Wow, 10:40. An hour has passed again, so quickly, and I you don't even see it. You don't even recognize it. Let me go to the board and see who is here. Oh, I see Ashok waiting in the background. Let me add him to the stream. Maybe what we'll do. What time are we at? Wait, Ashok, you got to turn off the sound. Wow. You got to turn off that sound. I didn't notice you waiting over there, so it's good to see you.
I'm always waiting. Beautiful girls and Dr. Mel Gill. These are two things I can wait forever.
Wait. Say that again so that it's not shouting in my ear. What?
I said I can always wait for a long time for Dr. Girl and the Beautiful Girls.
Dr. Girl and the Beautiful Girls? Okay.
Dr. Gill and the Beautiful Girls.
That's called a Freudian slip. It tells the world how you see me.
Sometimes I got to confuse on who I love you more, whether I love you more or whether I love all the beautiful girls more. So that's why my subconscious mind may be thinking.
I will put on a hula dress, and it will confirm that it's the girls. It's not me. Trust me.
We have to try that and test it out.
Okay. Good to see you.
How are you doing today? Good to see you.
Yeah. I see our mutual friend Cassie is trying to describe her boobies.
No, that's our code word.
Oh, okay. That's your code word. You're gonna have to tell everybody what that means. Two questions. How was your trip? It was a shamanic trip or something, or divine God? It's one man and 7 women, or divine experience?
I mean, that wasn't meant to be like this, but it turned out to be like this because so it was. So one of the things which I realized, actually, one of my friend, Katie, very close friend, and when I was on a Pacific Coast trip, she was with me, and all these amazing things happened to her, and she she keep on calling me from that time. She said, Ashok, you have to help a lot of other people with this energy healing, which is like a whole hoo-ha, like you would say, and I understand that. But she said, if people can get 10% of what I got in that trip, that will be so wonderful. And I said, nah, like it's just like I was just hanging around with you. I did not do anything. And she said, it's the important that when people hang around with you, how you live your life, the little things like I have, like she would grab a bottle to drink and I'd snatch it from her hand and I say, you don't drink like that. You drink slowly, consciously, mindfully. When you are eating, you eat everything like a little piece of French fries if you want to eat it like a caviar, so that you are enjoying it. So the French fries. Sorry, you want to say something?
Who is leading this?
Who is leading this? I'm leading this.
Wow.
Oh, you mean this? Yeah.
Yeah. The whole
Yeah.
weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the whole week. So she keep on telling me, and I'm like, nah, like there are things, like there are other things I'm doing, and she finally said, Ashok, I want to come to New York and be in your energy, and I'm like, okay, come on over. This is obviously during the COVID time, and then I started telling her, I said, oh, there is not much happening, so we wouldn't be going much out. But I don't think we should be in an apartment for a long time. And I said, I'll figure out, we'll try to. And I gone on my computer and say, what is open right now, right? And the Great Smoky Mountains was the first park which they opened it up. So I called them and I said, okay, we'll drive to Great Smoky Mountains, right? And then I was talking with my another friend in New York, and she said, Ashok, what are you doing these days? I don't see you much. And I said, oh, this weekend I'm going to Great Smoky Mountains.
Smoky Mountains in Tennessee.
In Tennessee. So she said, okay. And I said, I'm going over there. And she, without even asking me, she sent me a snapshot that she wanted to go over there. I'm like, okay, I can't say no to you. I mean, you want to come along. Then my friend told her friends in LA and they wanted to come. So it becomes to a point where I said, wait a second, we can't be too many people. Like I have to limit it. So we limited it to 6 people and they can't come in. And they have this great experience. Like I did not stop hearing from how their life had changed from that point. So now I'm doing a retreat. I don't call it retreat, I call it experience. So I called it Time with Divine Experience, and that divine is not me actually, even though some of the people think that is the divine in every one of them. They have experience with that, but
it could be you.
It could be.
You are divine, and we are the branches.
Yeah. So now actually we are doing a retreat so that people understand. That is the word people understand. I don't call it a retreat. I say retreat means you are in some shit and you have to retreat back from there. That's not what it is. You are going to experience it because all of these people, by the way, like they know spiritually everything and all those things. But the thing is, once you have all that knowledge, I wanted to take that journey from knowledge to knowing for them. That's why.
So, can we call you Guru now?
You can call me Guru. You can call me anything. They already call me Guru, so it doesn't matter. Now it is going beyond that. But
Guru Ashok?
Yeah, and I had
But Guru Ashok, can you help me help Amon? You can see his question on YouTube, which means we're broadcasting to YouTube as well, which is good news. He has a question. How do you propose change that can be carried out during these hard times? And Eljana from Bulgaria says good night.
Okay, you wanted to go to sleep. But how do you propose change can be carried out during these times? I mean, first thing I will say, you have to get out in nature. That's why I got out into the Great Smoky Mountains. You cannot be in this jungle of everything, everybody's scaring it. I actually literally told everybody to put their phone away, for this week. I have to give him like a little time every day. And then they are like, what are we going to do? And the second thing is, once you are in nature, you have to get out of the organized stuff, which means, like, I could have told them, okay, you can come in and we will do this at this time, this at this time. The schedule, the problem is when you tell people the schedule, how you are going to do the thing, they are in that organized environment. They think they are going to a seminar or they are going to a conference. What I wanted to do is have no schedule, throw all of those people into the chaos and see what comes up and then break them down and reinforce the new thing. So their database, I have to shake their database reality, which is all like a thing has to be this way. And then I created a new database in their mind and I seeded selectively, which was selected by them, not by me, what they want to put in there. And believe it or not, I had a very well-known psychologist with me, Dr. Lamise Khurshid, which is very well-known. She's doing psychology for the last 19 years. And she was my anchor to you, and she kept on stopping me. She said, no, Ashok, this is not possible, this is not how we do it. And finally she was the most resistant one. She came into this one and she said, I understand it, what you're talking about, but I'm mad at you. I'm like, why you are mad at me? She said, I've gone to the college, I did all this, I did lectures, I wrote books, I have 19 years of psychologist practice. And how could you know these things when I don't know? And so we are going to do now this retreat with the psychologist in Sedona, Arizona in September. Uh, because I can, and they talked about doing this in LA, and I said no, we have to be in nature. So one thing is to get out of this, you have to get into the nature, absolutely, and that's what you were talking earlier. Because once you get into the nature, you connect it to the source, and the idea is to disconnect you from all the things which you know and create a new reality for you and bring that reality into your life. So that's how I will disconnect from that. I mean, does people have fears going on this trip? Yes. Did they have fears when they came out? No. Will they wear mask in the grocery store? Yes. I mean, we did wear mask wherever it is, but it becomes like so much energetic work that all the things which we know has been reshaped.
So, addressing Armand, how do you propose you can change something for the positive? I would imagine he wants to change something, he or she, I'm not sure actually. Armand, if you're still listening, could you clarify your question a little bit so that Ashok or I can answer this question for you more specifically? I suspect it is to change something that is predominantly negative to something that's more positive, with more positive outcomes, with more clarity maybe, and with more possibility for solutions, I would imagine. Because the times are very hard. The riots are still going on. There's still brutality and being expressed by those in power. KKK runs the entire country and so on and so forth. So a lot of these things are happening right now. And so depending on what your situation is, changing something, from my perspective, if I give a brief perspective and then Guru Ashok will take over at that point, the first step to creating any kind of change, massive change in your life, is not actually believing that it's possible. It's being willing to see if it is possible. You know, if you're not going to be able to jump from being a complete negative or a skeptic, say for instance, to like Ashok and the psychologist that he was talking about, to becoming from a skeptic, the psychologist, to a wholehearted believer. Well, if you're not able to do that, well, then the step between is is just being able to see what could be possible. You could maybe try sending a few scary emails into your brain to say, okay, to change, where I am, need to do this, this. I, within my power and my ability, can do this within my community. or within the purview of the mayor who you have connections with, or so on and so forth, or even with that client or a partner or a family member, something that you maybe don't have a reason to respond to, or never had a history of change. You might have a few dozen situations where you've ignored, but eventually you'll find that you take the action step to be willing to see if it's possible to change and make it a more positive thing. You will have someone respond, and Guru Ashok will give you the rest of the story.
No, I mean it's nothing, because the question is not that specific. For me, it is very important when you want to make a change to disconnect from your existing environment and go into the nature and spend some time with yourself or with the beautiful people around you. Because the beautiful people, what they do is that becomes, like you were talking about earlier, that becomes your echo chamber, right? And
Yeah.
and you, so you feel the collective energy of everybody around you. But disconnecting from this environment is very important. Like you have to get into the nature. I don't care, it may be in a park, it may be whatever, it may be in the mountains, like it may be, I have gone over there and we were walking by certain place, in Pisgah National Park, actually, in North Carolina. And I said, stop the car. Basically, I felt so much energy that we had to stop the car, and we stopped by, and there was this stream coming in, and I literally saw the shaman over there. Okay, even though there was no shaman, I mean, I literally energetically saw it, and he was blessing it, because that place could have been like thousands of people should go to that place. It was a random place in the forest, and and he blessed it, and he said, "I'm so happy that you came over here and stayed." But that is, again, we are getting into the hoo-ha word, which I know you will have your own
No,
opinion.
no, no. I have none. I have none. Zero. Please, please.
Right,
I'm very open. I'm very open.
right, but that is the place, and yeah, my life and the life of the people who were around, and I made them feel that energy. Okay, so they are not in there, but when they got over there, they didn't want to move from there. I had to force move them eventually. I said, well, we came to this home, and it was, and then later on, like one of us is very wise and internet savvy and all those things, and she found out there was way back. She Googled it and all this thing, and she said, "Ashok, did you knew that?" I had no idea. I'm like, "What, knew what?" There was a big tribe, and there was shamans over there. A lot of activities happened way back hundreds of years ago. So that wasn't just like there was a scientific fact to base that, but you will never feel that unless you disconnect from there. You have to get a little uncomfortable about where you are, and the idea for chaos, for me to create a chaos for all of them into this vortex without taking out their phones, and not have an organized schedule, and throwing them into let's go somewhere without knowing where we are going. It created all this magic, because that chaos actually is, like, it, the chaos is not random incidents happening. Like, if you focus your camera way back, this is something happening to create something new, and it is a very good energy, and it happened for all of them. uh, and then there was one of them who, like, the last day, like, she was like, but I didn't have the quantum knowing of all these things. And boy, that night she had the experiences. She was like, she was hating me while she was in that experience, but she loved me after she came out of that. And it was like, sometimes you have to break down
That's
what you have built up.
that's what I said on my wedding night too. But yeah.
Yeah, but we know how that ended up. So
Let me
happiness.
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Would you consider doing this full time?
Yes, of course. You know,
Yeah.
you started the wheels. Remember that? Right? We were talking on some show. You said, "Sure, you already started the wheels." Um,
Yes. Yes.
and it is like I'm literally not doing anything. I told my friend, I said, I cannot do all this, like doing this retreat and organize all this thing. In one night, she arranged everything. She found this. And I said, if we are going somewhere in Sedona, I want to live in a palace. And the place she found it is like so much like a palace, a beautiful place. And, this is what is, I understand. This is all created by me, and they are my expressions finding out what to
Can
do.
I ask you to do me or do us a huge favor right now?
Hmm.
Would you like to share with everyone what maybe 2 or 3 of the teachings that you gave everyone that's useful? And while you do that, I will just check and make sure that my son is not in some immigration problem because he was flying from Vienna to Bulgaria. And so I want to make sure that he's okay. Would you
So
teach?
yes,
Is that
I will.
okay?
Yeah, that's fine, and I'm going to go with like some of the things which were the lessons. So I'm going to go back to when I put in those lessons on my Instagram or Facebook and
All
go
right.
through them.
All right. All right.
I can do it without that, but I'm just going to pick up because it's easier for me to go that way. So yeah, I'm sure you can check what is your son doing, and we will figure it out. And give me a second. And that is Ashok Thakur. So I know, and not to be quiet on this one. Like I was talking about like I call it time with divine experience. Okay, it's not a and
Hey,
one of
Luke,
the
Luke,
lessons
welcome to Bulgaria. Oh, can you hear me? You can't hear me, right?
can both be talking because like then we don't know
Can you
because
hear
you're
me?
yeah I can hear you.
Shit.
So I'm like
Can you hear me now?
yes.
Sorry, Luke. I was okay. Let me do this very quickly. I'm on the radio show, the podcast. You made it to Bulgaria. You're there safe. Everything okay? All right. All right. I'll call you back. I'm live now. Everybody, say hello to Luke. My son made it from New York safely to Bulgaria. He's in Varna right now, and I'll
Hello.
talk to you after the show. Everybody says hi. Okay. Bye. Sorry.
So the lesson. Okay. So and you can go to my Instagram and see that I put it in there like their time with the divine experience, different lessons. So first one I said is be playful. When you are playful, you can you are being playful.
No, that's my computer.
I know. So I will go like few of them I wrote. I mean, first lesson was be playful, and I said when you are playful, you can short circuit the path to your heart. You can short circuit the path to your heart. Okay, that's like I mean there are elaboration of that, but you said in short points, so I
Yes,
can
sure. Please,
right.
please.
Right. So lesson number 2 is when you are curious, nature reveals us with its magical beauty. You have to be curious, because you cannot say I actually don't like people when they are all set and they say they know it. That's where I have to break them down. um, and that could be any knowing, like you can ask me, does that God, like if somebody says yes God exists, I'm like, you blocked all the possibilities. If you say yes, you blocked all the possibilities of knowing other things, and if you say no,
It
you also
opens you
remove
up
all the possibilities,
to
right?
possibility mind. Yes. I
Right.
was curious once and I remember and I ended up with 2 kids.
I know that. And they are God given. That's what people say.
Kidding. Just kidding. Go ahead.
Okay. Lesson number 3. And that came to me with my friend who was a psychologist, and we were going through that. I salute her. That's why I'm doing a retreat with her in Sedona. I salute her for all the knowledge she had it, and why I firstly saw like the things happening like a magic with the psychology, and I saw her in action, sitting with me, talking with the people, and why I developed so much respect for psychology. And I can tell you. But then what happened is she isn't this. She was like, I had to do this at this time. I had to go running at this time. I had to do this. And I'm like, why that is important? Because the organized structure. And I wanted to break that. And then finally I came to that lesson, which is she has got a lot of knowledge and I have the knowing. So so the lesson number 3 is journey from knowledge to knowing is very important. Travel with the ones you love. So once you travel with them, you have the people who have got the knowledge, and you are trying to bring them to a knowing where they will feel it, that this is their idea, like not my idea what I'm telling them to do and bring it to this energy body. It's their idea, like that movie Inception, right? They say, how do we, you saw that obviously, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. They say, how do we make this change in this guy who owns a big corporation in the world? And they said, oh, he's not going to change his mind. So they put in the idea in his mind. They go into this dream state and put in the idea in his dream, uh, that this is what he should do. And then he comes back and he think it's his idea and he could execute it. Otherwise, he wasn't going to do that. It's the experience is the one, the knowledge is the one which shows you all the paths you can take. But the experience is the one which tells you which part is most suitable for you, will work for you. That is the experience. You have to feel that. You have to take that, because knowledge is working over here, which is very important. I don't want to ignore this part. But once you drop into your heart and you have the knowing, there is no stopping you, and you could change so many things. I mean, just think about it. This one doctor chain, she sees thousands of patients in a year. And she said, I cannot look at my patients the same way. She had calls for 3 days with her patients, and she is telling me, she said, I'm somehow, even though I got all this knowledge and I'm pulling my back to that, but she said, I'm speaking you to many of them. Many of them comes in, and I said, you have to be open to the possibilities. You cannot close yourself and say God is there, God is not there, or all men are bad, or all women are bad. So that was the next lesson, and I'm just going through that, and so those were the beautiful lessons for me, uh, especially being playful and make a journey from knowledge to the knowing. Okay. And surround yourself with beautiful people. And by beautiful, I don't mean who physically look beautiful, even though that's a plus bonus, but who are beautiful from their heart, and
Okay.
make them realize that this is what it is. And that, of course, I mean, I understand that creates an alternate reality for them. But what is the reality anyway? I have no idea whether I'm talking to you is the reality or not. uh, I had trouble, like, if you, I don't know whether you know, 3 days ago, like, on Tuesday, no, Monday night, when I was coming back, there all these cell phones were down in America. Like, you couldn't get through to anybody. And I was coming back, and I got down from the airport and started calling my friend. I couldn't get connect with anybody. And I was like, am I in an alternate reality? Because how is that possible that I cannot call anybody? And I rebooted my phone and everything, nothing worked. And then I said, okay, let me call one of the friends which was in that vortex at that time. And I called her and she picked up. How strange was that? That is really like messed up my mind for a second. And I was like, okay, that
You
couldn't be
know,
true.
you know why that was, right?
No,
It's
I
not
don't know.
just it's not just in the United States, but it was everywhere on the planet. Yeah.
Really, I did not
Uh,
know that.
yes, and a lot of people are feeling lethargic also in the last couple of days or so, and that's because there are a lot of massive electromagnetic spikes coming from the sun, solar flares, and they were hitting the Earth, and some of it was making it through. And if you were watching the aurora borealis or australis, whichever it is, the south or the north, you'll find that the activities would have picked up as the winds, the solar winds, hit the Earth. We are vulnerable. We are open to such electromagnetic flux that's happening out there. And it will continue for probably a day or two more, and a couple more after that. It has the weird effect of slowing down the Earth by a few feet per kilometer per second, whatever that works out to, which means the Earth's rotation is actually slowing down.
Yeah,
quite a lot, drastically.
And yeah, I mean, the reality is questioned in that time and space when you get from one to another, and when all of these people who were with me, I want to stop saying woman because you are going to make fun of me. But when
you notice I've been in complete restraint.
I know that, but you feel like saying it. I'm like saying you are holding it.
I'm not saying anything because but the emergence. Whenever there's an emergence of an awakened mind, that's not the time for jokes. When there's an emergence of a leader, a guru, that will lead people and is willing to put himself, his reputation, and everything on the line to be able to make this happen, that is not the time. It's like joking at a funeral or something. It's just inappropriate to do that. So I'm holding back a lot.
And I thank you because you are the one who started. Yeah, I mean, I'm so thankful you said, Ashok, whether you know it or not, you already started the weeds. We already started the weeds in that direction. And you asked me so many questions about the other things too, about my relationships and all that stuff. And I said, I don't want to be in a relationship. That will stop my freedom. And I want to be in a relationship. If somebody is there who can walk with me the way I'm walking, the way I'm doing the things, and I will support her and she will support me. That person, I think, already came into my life. It was that quick. And those are the things, because then you question all these things. Like when we were there, like these women were like saying, but we feel so good. We feel that we are on top of the world, but this is not reality, right? Because that thought comes into your mind, and what does it matter if you can live like that? I mean, what does it matter if you can live in a dream? You can live in a dream. They have all gone back to their real life, and they are living same life. Like one of the person told me she booked so much business in 2 days, which she never thought. Another person telling me she's talking with her patients and saying, but don't stop the possibility with all this knowledge. Another person is creating all these other awesome stuff in her life, like she so if that is an alternate reality, what's wrong with that?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, go ahead. I want to hear you talk a lot.
Guru Ashok, even the best of us could use an external viewpoint sometimes. Whether that person is a psychologist or not is immaterial. That person can see and give you a different perspective, that's important. And if we study our reality too much to determine if this is real or not, then it's like studying enthusiasm. Once you study enthusiasm, you are no longer enthusiastic. And the reality shifts even as you study it and come to. Think of yourself as a surfer, on a surfboard, a spiritual surfboard, if you will. And reality as a constant changing waves. There are so many waves out there. It depends, your reality depends on which wave you ride at any one time, or which wave you choose. And if the easy wave, and that will take you to where you need to go easily. No distractions, no pain, no fuss, no falling off the board. Sometimes you choose the big ones, the really huge waves, that reality. And then you have to be really involved. all five senses, 7, 8, 9, 10 senses, all involved to be able to ride that wave to its nth degree. And so that's what you're doing, wave to wave to wave. And it doesn't matter which reality you're in. What matters is you, as a catalyst, sparked a new window, a new gateway, a portal, if you will, to an alternate reality or alternate realities for a lot of people. So as a result, today I had an interview at 3:00 my time, several hours ago, with Charn from Thailand. He wanted to learn about being a master trainer. Now, if you know people from Thailand, they like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, then notes. I want to know how your blood type of your mother is, and all of these. They need specifics, but to become experiential and to train experientially, they're not used to that. It's very difficult. And what I didn't tell Charn is that when I am with them for 6 days, teaching them to become powerful trainers and charismatic and open their mindsets and all of that, that I'm actually infecting them, touching them, and opening realities with my field. But I don't tell them that. I just do it. And so much so that when they go into another situation, it happens and opens automatically. They experience new things and new learning until finally they go, holy shit, I'm doing all this. And so I let them think they're doing all this because that's them. That's their life. And our job, yours and mine, is simply to create a rift, open it up, open the mindset, teach them in a way that makes sense, let them practice, and then go out. And you'll know that out of the hundreds of people you speak to, thousands in my case, less than 10% will execute what you tell them to do. And the rest will repeat.
And though the repeat customers keep on coming back to you.
I don't charge, so I don't make much money at all.
I'm just saying, a repeat fan. That's that. Like I always, one of the things another point is, like, be open to the possibility. Don't say this is just this way, or if I eat this, my stomach is going to bloat. Okay. Then obviously it's going to bloat. Like, and don't feel guilt and shame. I mean, that was one of the things which I have to rip it apart, because now you go to a steakhouse, you order a steak, and when the steak comes in, and you're like, oh, I shouldn't be eating this steak. And I said, that is the most ridiculous thing which you can do it to yourself, to your body and everything, because not that I'm for steak or against steak. I'm like, that was the time when you ordered it. That is the time you make the decision. When you make the decision, it's done. Okay.
You have a stake in it.
Yeah, you have a stake in it. And that's what people don't understand. They do these things and then they feel guilty about it. I said, why don't you think before? And not that, I mean, guilt and shame is not in my vocabulary, but I want it to go out of people's vocab. But then I also tell them, like, if you have to feel like that, feel it before you're doing the action, and feel it how you are going to feel if you do that. And if you're going to feel guilt and shame, then don't do that. But do it at that point before you're going to take the action, rather than when you are in the middle of the action. That's not the time to do it.
And this extends to everything, including masturbation.
Anything you can think about. And we did these beautiful ceremonies and everything to get them out. It was. I have the pictures from this ceremony. Like, if I could show you, you will think you're in heaven. I obviously cannot share it on the social media, but it's like the heaven is right over there. And on the last day, like all of them. Sorry, that was that friend. But on the last day, and this was not planned or nothing else. Like, I did a beautiful ceremony with them, and then they said, "This is a beautiful thing." Like, one of the girls said, she said, "Ashok, who heals the healer?" I'm like, okay, that's a good thing. What does that mean? They said, all of us are going to give you a healing energy today. And we sat down and they did this beautiful ceremony. Like, they dressed up in nice clothes and everything. And I was just lying over there, and somebody has got their hand on my head or wherever, like foot or whatever. They did this beautiful ceremony, and I felt so good. And I told them, like, I'm uh, always giving out this love and energy because I get a lot of that. But yes, they have given me back many folds in that ceremony. It was such a beautiful gift to me that it brings tears in my eyes just thinking about it. And
So happy for you. So
yeah,
happy for you.
thank you. But yeah, like you said, you should always get an external point of view. That's why I always be in touch with you, because because a lot of the people in this reality, they said, "What, Ashok? That's not real. We don't know what you're talking about. It cannot happen." And uh, for me, I mean, I'm like, and some of the women which were with me, and they questioned that. I said, "Does it even matter? What is real to you? I mean,
Hmm.
if you are having good time and you need, I mean, of course we have to go with the survival needs, right? Like you said, it's not a good time to talk about spirituality when they don't have food in their body,
Hmm.
and I understand that. But once that need is taken care of, there is something deeper which we are all looking for,
Hmm.
whatever you want to call it. And as a human, we are looking for those things, and lot of people are out of their survival in this day and time, um,
Hmm.
and you can talk the spirituality.
So
Yeah,
sure.
so
I Yeah. What makes me not so popular with a lot of people is that I balance the spiritual with the practical. Um, I'm very, very, very keenly aware of who it is I'm speaking with and their economic station in life, because the the socio-economic status, who they are, what they are, their how they're seen, whether they're white, black, Chinese, Indian, da 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 da. All of this play a part in what the future is going to look like. And yes, in a perfect world, we would like everybody to have equal opportunity, and that also depends on where they want to be. This racism is a huge thing now, big thing, but it's huge only because a mass of people watched a man being murdered live. Um, it was stewing for the last 300 years. And you have the colonialist, let's not call them white, colonialist, who had the audacity to go into third world countries that were already occupied and claim it for the queen. It's like, what the hell? It's ours. What are you claiming? Even in Singapore, they say Singapore was founded by Sir Stamford Raffles. I mean, when he landed on a river bank, and he put his foot there and he put a flag there and said, "I found this for the queen." And so all the villages nearby who are still there, it's occupied, they come and say, "What the hell did this guy find? This white guy is looking at the ground and he found something. We can't find out what the hell he found." If they knew, they would knew that they were being occupied by the British Empire at that time. And it was the British Commonwealth. But except the wealth was not common and was not for everyone. They were pillaging India. They were pillaging Africa. They were pillaging different places, and anybody less than white were animals, and so on and so forth. So that has not stopped till today. And so
that is
many of these people have no opportunities, or very few. So I have to guide them in a psycho-spiritual way, because there's a psychology involved, and yet at the same time, while keeping them optimistic about opportunities, to recognize that there is a higher force and there's a higher being, and that you have at one point in your life been white, been black, been Indian, been Chinese, been Antarctic,
well,
Eskimo.
whoever I'm talking about, they are calling me on the phone. So I don't know how does this work. Like the
What?
people I was talking about, they're calling me one by one on my phone while we are having this conversation. So
Sure.
you can say it anything. I don't think it's a coincidence. They are energetically feeling it that I'm talking about them.
Shall we bring them on?
Uh, okay.
On their phones, they could probably come on.
Oh, on the phone. Okay. Next one, when she calls, we can bring them on, and we can bring them on at another time. Um, but that what you were talking about is all those things about people not liking a particular race or whatever. Like they are all connected with connect. What is
Yeah,
happening?
no, I'm sorry. I'm reading Dobrin. Remember Dobrin, our friend Dobrin? He
Uh-huh.
said, Elenko Angelov. Elenko is my student. Part
Okay.
of the, I think there were about 89 master trainers who were being trained by me in Sofia, Bulgaria. And Elenko is one of the top psychologists in Bulgaria. And he wrote 3 books. He put them out. He says if John Kehoe, who teaches about mind power and psychic powers and all that, and Deepak Chopra were together in Sofia, Bulgaria, for a month with 200 leva, which is US about $50 maybe, they will commit suicide because the pensioners live on 200 leva a month. Can you believe it?
I mean, I don't think so, though. I mean, that's the thing, though. I've got a very different opinion. I think this spirituality and the knowledge and the knowing has to intersect at a certain point, because that is where, like the people, the psychologist is living here, and the spiritual person is living here, and when they have a disconnect, that is where it becomes the problem. And I was thinking like that before I met you. And I'm like, okay, you are too much in your mind. You can. And then I met you, and I see how beautifully you balance it. And then when I met this doctor uh, in Tennessee, who was with me, and I was like, what a beautiful way, because some people will respond to one particular kind of a uh, person, and another will respond. So the idea is to get to their core and rip it open and create a new reality for that. And unless we can rip that open, we cannot create a reality, because unless you cut your chest, you can't do a open heart surgery, because that has to go, and that is what the knowledge will do, that it will cut your heart and get to those places. So I think a psychologist and a Deepak Chopra will be perfectly fine about how much money they need. They will not need any money. The people will come and take care of everything they need. And I had many issues with the people. Like people say, "Oh well, this universe is not going to pay my bills," and I understand that you have to take some concrete actions. Uh, but universe is paying my bills, and I'm enjoying my life. I'm not working even that many days. I had to go to it. I wanted to go to a trip to London, and I was financially tight, so I was talking with my friend who was inviting me. I said, no, I can't make it. She said, you never said that. You always said it's abundance. I said, okay. I booked my ticket on the credit card. One of my clients referred me to somebody in London who paid all my bills, because they wanted me to come to their company for one day and do this analysis. So yes, universe will pay. So but if you believe that universe wouldn't pay, it wouldn't. I mean, all my bills are getting paid. Like I was in this place, like my every need was taken care of when I was in the Great Smoky Mountains. Even needs up to where pillows were put behind my head when I was sitting on a bed talking. I mean, what kind of a need is that? Like, and I said, thank you to the person. She said, do you mean, like, is it that great for you? I said, obviously it's that great for me. And she said, wait a second. No woman ever did that for you? I'm like, no. And I'm thankful, because she felt the need that I'm sitting over here with my head on this and my head is touching, and she picked up the pillow and kept it. That's called meeting your needs, like every need, like
Yes.
everything. Yeah. And
You are very lucky that you met such a woman or such women. The women I know, they take the pillows from under your head and they pull the covers until you have no covers in the middle of the night, and they are all wrapped up, and you are just like, what the hell? And pretty soon you're on the floor.
That's where your reality and mind differ,
Correct. But you're right about one thing. There is a balance, and what I wanted to teach people in this program, Uncommon Sense, just so that people realize it, if I can teach you to live in an unconscious state, because your unconsciousness, I don't say subconsciousness, I say unconsciousness, though when you're not aware, in your unconscious state, you are more open to possibilities and solutions. You tend to be in the right place at the right time. You tend to want to be in a situation where you meet the right person to be able to execute all these things. So what the world misinterprets as law of attraction, Carl Jung had discussed it in terms of unconscious connections between everybody. Collective unconscious mind connects everyone. And interpreted in such a way that it wasn't the universe per se, it was your unconscious mind providing. So you are conscious of an action. You are conscious of a need. I have a need for my bills to be paid. And so as a result, it puts you in the right position at the right time. And because we can, I don't know if you know it, Edgar Mitchell, one of the astronauts, I think he was the sixth man to land on the moon through all the Apollo missions and all of that. He studies consciousness more effectively than most scientists of his caliber. And he said basically, we are able to remotely influence other people's minds very easily, whether as a group or whether alone. So as a result, you put a thought in someone's head and you set in motion a series of thoughts to be able to get that person to call you, to this person to refer whoever, and all of it is happening without your conscious knowledge. And so if I can teach people to be in practical spirituality, in other words, live your life, take care of your responsibilities, do what you need to do on a daily basis, execute until you become the best engineer if you're an engineer, the best road sweeper if you're a road sweeper, the best doctor if you're a doctor. But while you do all of this, be in your unconscious mind a lot. Spend a lot of time in meditation, which throws you into an unconscious resource state, because then you have resources beyond belief. How does Sadhguru do what he does without reading anything at all? How do other gurus that do the same thing? Because they have access, when you are in your unconscious mind, to what the Hindus already knew for centuries, the Akasha, the Akashic records. The Akashic records is basically every piece of information on everything in the universe in multi-dimensional states that you may want to know. So the minute you know this, then a cosmic series of events begin to take place, cosmic memory, whatever you want to call it. I call it cosmic phenomenology, the study of what is cosmic, what is not. And so you start to realize that the source of all things, as you move it closer and closer and closer towards, like you said, your heart, your head. And if you can center it in your head, my God, you know everything that needs to be known. And at that point, you don't no longer even need to communicate that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will not hear.
That's right. And it is that story which is like you talked about the Sadhguru, like when I did his inner engineering, it changed my life so much dramatically. But I can also sit down and if I go to my mind and say, well, that things were going to change anyway because I was doing the right thing. I can say, when you talked about it, you said, Ashok, you already set the wheels of the universe. When you said, Ashok, will you like to just do this and be taken care of rather than doing whatever you're doing? And I said, yes. The moment I said yes, you said you already set things in motion. And I don't know where everything came from. Now I can say, okay, I called my friend, I told them. No, it didn't happen like that. It's like those things are set in motion without you knowing it. When I'm calling in, like I want somebody in my life who do these things like this, like the walk with me on the path I'm walking. I'm setting the wheels of that whatever you want to call it, divine, universe, whatever, in motion or reaching to the unconscious. Uh, and those things are happening because they are always happening to me. I had no doubt going into this. Like everybody asked me at the end of 1 week, they said, "Did you knew what was going to happen?" And I knew what was going to happen. I absolutely knew. I didn't know the minutiae of it, but I did know. That's why I told them, I said, you don't even have to write anything. You don't have to write the journal. Just before starting, write it on the journal where you are, and then write it in the end, because I didn't want to interrupt their experience in that, because then you come out of the reality and go, and it is the amazing transformation. I mean, I cannot even believe in my mind, and then everything is taken care of. I was talking with my friend, and she was setting up all these things and how much the retreat is going to cost and everything. I'm like, wait a second, am I going to get paid my airfare from New York to LA? And she said, Ashok, you are kidding with me. Like, you are just talking about the airfare. You said, your Guru Badro for the coming 3 months will be paid from that. And I said, but you are getting this big, expensive place with like 15 grand in Sedona for a week. How we are going to pay that? And she said, that is your reality, how we are going to pay that. My reality says, yes, we are going to pay that. And so everything is taken care of. So what I already know how that is going to happen. I already know that I have to refuse people and saying, okay, we are full to the capacity. Like I have to tell it in this one. I have to really stop my friends and saying, don't tell it to your friends like there are no more people can come, because like I was thinking about 2 friends, now it becomes 6 friends. So yes, you set up the wheels in motion. It is difficult to understand for many people because we are so stuck in this reality.
You and I are doing similar things.
You are doing it without the woman. I am doing it with the woman.
Correct. I don't know if it's a. I don't know. I don't comment on that. It's not my place. Spirituality is an individual thing. If you can do it with someone, God bless you. I don't know what that is, but you're building on your relationship and da 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 da. That's good. I'm very, very happy for you. Now, when you become more and more relaxed and more spiritual and so on and so forth, you begin to realize that you are no longer urgent and rushing. Do you remember what was that? The Alice in Wonderland. Remember that, where the Mad Hatter was going, I'm late, I'm hurrying, da da da, and so she fell into the rabbit hole, following him, wondering what it was late about. So you're no longer feeling all of that, and you start to become clear. And all I'm teaching people is that space. You are there, my friend. I am still here. I'm still here. No, wait. You are there. You are there. Really, you're all spiritual. I am here. I cannot leave the ground. We had discussed the Ganesha effect and all of that. He is on the ground. He is literally the god of earth, if you want to know it. And the remover of obstacles. And that has been, I identify with that. And so that has been my calling, my charge, my bane, my curse, whatever you want to call it, to remove obstacles from people. And most of the obstacles are developed in the mind, and the mind shifts. So the minute you believe one reality, the minute you believe one set of spiritual values, which, by the way, as you grow, will grow with you. They will, like your suit, like your coats that you wear, they will change. The minute you believe that is, then you are no longer spiritual. So at that point, you have to be so plastic that what I believe may be wrong. And are you able to say that? And when you can, then you become Buddha, one who is now awakened, that there is no reality per se. There are many. And so the minute you begin to find the interconnectedness of everyone, then we begin to have that, which is why I'm beginning season 2 of Uncommon Sense in a very different way. We are now going to call all of this possibility thinking. from season 2 all throughout. I'm going to train people like I did today, how to be in that possibility mind so that you feel better and you come up with more solutions. Because I'm telling people, it's not that you will not have problems. You will have problems. You will have a lot of problems. The minute you say something to me like, Mel, can you help me with my problem? I said, sure. Well, I'm in this relationship. Now I know the source of the problem. The minute you say that, I know you have a problem already. And, I have a difficulty at work. And I already know you have one. But so how do I take you from here to there? That is my task. You are taking them where I leave them from here to there, and you're taking them higher. So good luck with all of that.
That's why
Yeah.
I have a psychologist in that retreat to get to that
Good.
level, and
Good.
then I take it from there. But
Yes.
the, the more important part is when we are moving through this, uh, both parts are very important. Okay. I know spiritual part is important. I mean, I tell you how I'm going to give you this example, right? We were in Charleston.
This is going to have to be the last example because I just realized we went to 2 hours already.
Oh my God! Oh,
Yeah.
it can
No. Please finish this. It'll be good because tomorrow we have, and I'll tell you who we have tomorrow. But tell me the story.
Okay, so we were sitting. We were in Charleston, North Carolina. I was sitting with my friend, and somebody came, and she said, "I couldn't stop it. I had to come to both of you." I'm like, "Okay, what is happening now?" She said, you both of you sitting over there, I see God in both of you." Now, I don't know what she saw, right? She said, "I see God in you." And, like you are joking and I'm joking. I'm like, "Are you a religious person?" Like, she said, "I've got altars in my home. I pray every day. I go to church every day." She said, "I literally want to tell you, I see God in both of you." And I didn't know what she saw, right? And then this is and then I came back to New York, and she's gone to wherever she has to go, right? And then we have a conversation uh, with my friend who is a psychologist, and she called me. She said, "Do you miss her?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Well, that's weird. I think you were very well connected with her, so how could you not miss her?" And I sat down and think that's what the psychologists bring in you. They make you think, because I wasn't even thinking. I wasn't missing. I wasn't thinking. And she said, "That is very weird. She said, "I thought the moment you leave her and you go to New York, you are going to be so sad. And that's why I was calling you, because you are going to miss her so much." And I said, "No, I don't miss her." And she said, "Well, why not? That's very weird." And I thought about it because she raised that question. Otherwise, I would have never thought. Because I didn't miss her, because I never got separated from her. When she has gone her way, I came on my way. I didn't feel a separation. I didn't feel that I'm getting separated. I came along with her. Okay. To get to that level, you need a psychologist. I would not have that realization if my psychologist friend wouldn't have called me. She's the one let me think. And this just came to me. I didn't think about it. Like you say, oh, Satguru doesn't read all these books and these things come. So there is a divine thing somewhere which is loading to you. But that's what I thought. And it blew my mind away.
Not
That's
not
what
not not just Sadhguru, but Buddha. So many other spiritual folks, hundreds of thousands, are the same. Um, I hear what you're saying. I'm very happy for you. Enjoy it now. But
thank you.
I'm a psychologist.
Right?
I'm here if you need someone to talk to in the future.
Right at this point, no. But
No,
I know
for
you're
now,
the friend.
enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you.
While,
So your
while it
last word.
lasts.
We are ready for your last wisdom word.
Come and listen tomorrow,
Okay.
where we have the Vice President, Christine of Cruitt, of this International Space Station, who would talk about how a group of people with possibility mindedness came together to make this mission a reality. And the next step is the moon, and the step after that is Mars and beyond. And so the entire program is about that. And we will discuss and chat more. Thank you so much for contributing, sir. I am very happy for you. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you. Are you happy for yourself that you have to have this
Always.
discussion with me? Right?
Always.
It is such an interesting discussion that these are the things, like you can see how a person on the other end of the spectrum can feel. And of course I'm in this spectrum too, because if I'm on the moon and I'm walking a certain way and now I come to the earth, I know the gravity is different and I have to be in that reality.
One of my specialties is spectrum disorders. Autism and such, and Asperger's, and any kind of spectrum.
Thing is what spectrum you want to live in, right?
Yes, correct.
I choose a different spectrum, and I know a lot of people are telling me, "Oh, sure, there is this spectrum too. There is darkness." And somebody did ask me the question about the darkness.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not denying there is no darkness.
Sure.
I'm saying,
and there's
choosing to say like,
yes, there's also a song, "Somewhere Over the Rainbow We Will Find Love." And so enjoy this spectrum.
We will not find love as long as we are searching for it.
Wow. That is total wisdom right there. He who chases butterflies is finally finding the butterflies landing on his shoulders. Wow.
Wow. That was okay. Okay. We are done with the mutual admiration club. And I think, thank you very much. This was an awesome show. Before even I came on, you give so much wisdom in such a small show to the people. If they are listening, making notes, they can shift with all the points you talked about. And I think you said 7, but you've gone up to 10.
Practice.
And that's the awesome service. And I love you for that from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you.
Bringing out the things in people, where they will move into the whatever reality we call it. Thank you. And I'm ready.
Thank you, Guru Ashok.
Thank you. The closing. Thank you so much. I'm ready for that.
Guru Ashok is now standing by, and I love this man. He just has a lot to share, and it's interesting to get various perspectives on life as well. So we talked about possibility thinking, and we talked about filling in the day with all of the busyness that we surround ourselves with. And the more and more quote unquote spiritual you get, the more you begin to realize that, unlike the Mad Hatter in Alice in Wonderland, where you're screaming, "I'm late, I'm late, I'm late," for a very important date, no time to say hello, goodbye, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late. And so instead of living your life like that, in a hurry all the time to get from point A to point B, I am lost, I need to be found. I am lonely, I need to be filled in love. I am whatever, poor, I want to be rich. I am fat, I want to be thin, etc. There's so many different things that you fill yourself with. So what do you do when you find yourself in the midst of all of this struggle to get from where you are to where you are not, to where you need to be? You see, I wake up every day clear and rested. The light is flooding into my room from where the sun comes up. The day seems endless, but yet free somehow. But making coffee, I noticed that there are 3 bills on the table that I haven't paid. So after showering, I noticed I need a haircut. It's been a while with this COVID thing and all of that. So I need to find a barber somewhere who's open. And since I'll be out, this way or that way anyway, I think I might as well pick up my laundry and get my dry cleaning done at some point. But I so want to spend time in the sun. I so want to spend time soaking in the dew from the grass. I don't want to do all these things I have to do, all these things that are part of a normal day for Mel Gill or Dr. Mel Gill. That I am still this little boy. So I think to myself and I think, well, after all of these errands, all these things, maybe I'll take a walk out into the garden or out into the park nearby. And then I'll have to deliberate which park shall I be in, which beach shall I go in, because all of them have been closed for the last 3 months. Where do I go? I have a car. You know, I'm mobile. I'll go to the park. And then I'll deliberate which part of the park I'll be in. So anyway, we have to just decide, because it's only about 40 minutes away anyway from where I live. So finally, wanting to make sure that there is some fun in everything I do in a day, I may call a friend, and I plan to meet him or her at a movie at some point. The movie theaters are still closed, but maybe we can sit down and have a cup of coffee. So now I have time to hurry along after the coffee and make sure I can get everything done and everywhere I need to be on time. But thankfully, while maybe filling up the car with gas, I hear a small bird, and it lifts my head. I just lift my head to look at this small bird, and instead I see the cloud opening up, and the light from behind the cloud floods my mind, and I drop all of my plans, like on the ground, literally. I laugh at myself, and I can be so easily, I can become a slave to a schedule that I created, that I thought was important. And not one of these things is necessary for me to do today. So I drop everything and I follow the bird. There are times in my life when, as I do what I do, and this is the little extra that I want to talk about, people in my life, different people in my life, are like the different birds in my life. Some have a very sweet song. Some have a song that's loud and shrill. Some have no song. It's just in silence. I sit them in front of me, and we sit and we talk and we have coffee. And our unifying thing that joins us is coffee. It's just a warm drink. But it's the energy of being in the presence of the person whom you enjoy, and away from the people who you don't enjoy, who, for want of a better word, need healing. But you see, if you live your life as a healer, then isn't it funny that as you live your life as a healer, that the simple act of drinking a cup of coffee means you are healing while you do it. Not only are you healing the world with your intent, you're also healing yourself as you live your life every day. So as you leave tonight and sleep, be good to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Give yourself the gift of breath. Tomorrow morning, even though I would be half asleep in bed at 6 a.m., I know my Father is like a little boy in the playground of his dreams, 18 holes, hitting a ball into a hole. That's all he wants. And my mother will be looking forward to all of the wonderful leftover cake and durians and what have you. And I, even though I have a lot of work to do, I will be looking forward to that warm cup of coffee and breathe in the silence. Good night. Thank you for joining me. This program is called Uncommon Sense. You're listening to the voice of Dr. Mel Gill. Tomorrow we'll talk to Christine, who is one of the folks involved in the International Space Station, and we'll learn about possibility consciousness and taking a whole bunch of like-minded people and making what was once a dream into a reality. How do you build your realities? Thank you. Good night.